Alright, so we're going to be doing a viaduct. This time around, product, viaduct, whatever. Same thing. But this map, I think people think this map's a lot worse. I think people think Soldier's a lot worse than it actually is on this map. I think this is probably one of my best maps when I was playing. And you can have super good impact as long as you play it right. And yeah, so most of the time what you want to do when you roll out is don't static jump. Make sure you get a crit heal. You can walk with your combo so you get a buff because it doesn't really matter if you go left. So just go here and either you can go a couple places to start the mid. Either you can join your other soldier here if you really want. There was a spot that I tried for a little bit because I wanted some spam. Is you can go here. You can try and spam over. You kind of like a head glitch, I guess, and you can spam the point and not like ever get hit unless the demo wants to hit you. But most of the time, you are going to end up going concrete on the left side and just getting spam across over there, something like that. So most of the time how mids are going to work, either you're going to go passive, you're going to go aggressive commit, or you're going to go aggressive and get behind. And I guess you could also say you push their flank, could be another one. So I'm going to start with a passive one. A lot of times you don't really want to be here because you don't have any vision and your spam's not that great. The only thing is you have high ground so they can't push connector on you. But if the other team wants to kill you, they'll just bomb a soldier past you and run a scout through connector and you're dead. You kind of won't do much. So most of the time I like playing here because you can trade spam with their roamer. And if you can always tag their roamer and make sure they can't really commit. So a lot of times what I did is if I know the roamer's coming, just shoot this with one good rocket and keep spamming. And eventually they'll have to back up, grab that pack. It'll buy you like 5 seconds or so. But that's like a little minute thing. But so most of the time you're going to want to play the mid spammy. And if they commit on you, you either fight them or most of the time you're going to jump back. And just make sure you're not the first pick. Because a lot of times how teams initiate is either they initiate on your combo or initiate on your flank. So just be aware of that. Make sure you're in a place with a lot of vision. This gives you a lot of vision. You get there, there, there. You'll be moving around. But at least you see the brighter point. You'll see connector. And most of the time, you'll be able to see if someone jumps you. And if they do, deal with it. You can always jump forward. You can always jump backwards. Stuff like that. But I don't usually do passive mids because I don't... At least when I played, I didn't usually do passive stuff because it's boring. But, so, first things first. Aggressive mid where you commit. So a lot of the times, their combo's going to be around this area. So like, we'll just make a box right there. So they're going to be in like that valley area, maybe a bit farther back. Most teams don't play on cliff on mids or China. Usually there'll be a scout up there or up there. So just be aware. You're probably going to die when you bomb. So if you want to get aggressive with your other soldier, you can get a really good bomb off this. Try and get on their med. You can land on the rock. You can land on the high ground. You can fade out and go onto the main thing and just spam. You don't have to commit. But if you see something big where you can get a lot of damage and you will die, but you'll do a lot of damage to let your team push across, you can do that as well as if their demo pushes forward, you can juggle him up and try and get your scouts to kill him across point. Stuff like that. Another bomb, if you don't want to get spammed there, is you can jump off of this house. This house is really good for bombs literally everywhere. And it can't really get spammed or stuffed just because it's so far away, where a demo or a soldier can pre-fire this. And it's kind of annoying sometimes. So another mid you can do is... What else did I say? Aggressive behind. So if your team doesn't want to commit together and you just want to try and get something going and you don't want to worry about the connector, just jump behind either here. You just need to know where their scout is and where their roamer is. Because if the roamer's right there and there's like a scout on China or something like that, you can easily get turned on. If they're stacking like one scout there, one scout here, and their roamer there, it's kind of hard to commit behind without getting chased. What you can do is if they do have 2 people stacked here, jump here and then immediately jump away and try and just draw eyes so your team can push forward. So you're pulling 2 people back and then eventually your team probably could push across this side of point while these guys are distracted. Stuff like that. Just don't commit too long a lot of times on this map just because you can get collapsed on by scouts really, really easily. A lot of times if they come, you can always do this jump. Get super high on top of them. Stuff like that. This house... I will be pointing out this house so much because this house is amazing for any jump ever. You can use any side of the house for a really impactful, good jump. And last thing is if you want to commit on their flank. So a lot of the times if teams want to stack their team with both scouts on this side or at least a scout here where it's kind of far away. What you can do is either, if you keep doing fast bombs where you jump behind, what you can do is high bomb, but this time, I kind of messed it up into my head, but you can get behind on the soldier, and as soon as you get on him, your scout commits across, you get a 2v1, and then that's just a really good initiation. And eventually the roamer will probably wise up to it, but another thing is you can just jump across and land on him. Land on a crate or land on the shed, and just try and get some damage out. And if it doesn't work, then you can always jump out or jump behind them. Stuff like that. But that's usually how mids are going to work. You're going to be on this side of the map almost the entire game, I'd probably say. So, so next thing. Let's say forward hold. So how forward holds work is you're going to have 2 soldiers here, demo on cliff, scout on cliff, scout up there, or scout here. Either one. And most time, I won't get into the demo too much, but usually your demo rotates main while your scout stays right and spots it. But you're going to want to have one soldier. You want to communicate which soldier wants to be the guy forward, where usually you're going to get a spot, and most of the time you're going to get the beam. So you're going to get an early spot. You get to see where they're coming. You're going to get a quick juggle rocket, and just keep backing up. And the other one will be looking at main, kind of be around here, ready to rotate wherever, but if they come main, you get really good spam. You don't let them to the door for free. And if you want, you can walk forward at it and just try and lock it down a bit harder. But one soldier needs to be on each roll. And so if they have a pyro and they're coming in, either you just try and spam correctly, or I've seen this a couple times where teams play one soldier here and one soldier over there. It's kind of a bait though, because if they come main, you do kind of get a jump on them, but if they get through the door and a soldier bombs in, you kind of didn't really do much. And if they come through left really clean and your bomb doesn't do anything, it's not great. But the whole concept of this is you bomb above the pyro and behind the guys and try and get on the med and stuff like that. And it's kind of a cheese play, sort of. But yeah, it's basically just assuming they just walk in after their pyro and the pyro's not looking for a bomber. But a lot of times the whole point of a forward hold is try and blow them up in this door and don't let people through this part. Because what the pyro, at least what I think the pyro, or I want the pyro to do whenever I have one on forward hold, is to get enough space for my soldiers to get through the door, and that was a bad jump, but get a bomb on their med and get a force. And you don't usually use the pyro to get kills, you use them purely to get out of this little doorway so your soldiers can bomb through. And either get on the med, get on the demo, get on something. Get through the door, basically. Make some space for your team to sack. Alright, so that's usually how you forward hold. Make sure one guy's doing each thing, and make sure you try and make sure they don't get through the door. Because as soon as they get through the door, it gets a lot messier. Because as soon as one guy gets in, more people are going to get in. And if they don't, then that guy who gets in is going to do something. So just make sure you're aware of where they're coming and make sure they don't get through clean, at least. So next thing. So one thing that I did a while ago, I don't really do it anymore, but you can, if you want to be annoying, is just sit here and spam to ruin crit heals. So basically it's just they have to go to resup again, and you get vision, you can see where they're coming from. You can sort of, they can mix you up, but you could be like, okay, let's see where they're coming from. I take literally no damage unless the sniper like headshots me. I can see if they're coming that side or this side, and you can help call for your demo, your scouts, your whatever, if you have a sniper, stuff like that. But yeah, this is basically a free spotting place, and then just get out so you don't get caught. And then, so another place you can play if you really want to be aggro, the only problem is you can get bombed on the side, is if you want to just bully their roamer over and over again, is if he dies or if you know he's coming left alone, just spam him. And as soon as he gets the pack, hit him more so he can't do anything, and that buys you 10 seconds unless they get a bow or they go somewhere else to get a pack. Stuff like that. It's just, if you can keep their roamer not full, you buy yourself a lot of time to do stuff and make plays. Because if you do 50 damage to their roamer and you commit, their roamer's not going to immediately counter bomb. So that won't be really, and they can't really push connectors hard is the main thing. But that's usually how you play it. But a lot of times if you have Uberad or you have the point and they're pushing, you can play here pretty safely. You get spots on everything. You get good spam on them walking up, and you get a lot of vision. I don't know what fence you're talking about. But yeah, this is a pretty good spot to be. A lot of times, yeah. This is a sniper ring as well. Side facing main. That's not concrete, it's side facing main. Am I dumb? Is there even a fence anywhere on concrete? On their side, facing main. This? I have no clue. On the boxes. Oh, dude, I don't know what you're talking. Or whatever. I have no clue. There's no fence. I don't know. On the boxes. This? What? I don't know what. On top of the stairs. From the health pack towards the middle. What? Top of stairs from the health pack towards the middle. So here. Alright, whatever. I don't have time. I'm trying to do something. Right here. I don't know what I'm supposed to. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so where was I? So yeah, you're gonna be playing here a lot of times, spamming. Trying to get some damage out. And once again, what I used to do a lot is just make sure, if you have the point, make sure their roamer's not able to push connector. Because it's fine if they bomb, but just make sure people can't push connector. This is your place. And if you want get aggro, just make sure you always have the, at least, try and get the health advantage. And make sure at least you trade damage so they can't commit and you can't commit. Stuff like that. The only worry is a lot of times people are going to initiate on you. So like I said, just be aware. Be ready to jump out. Be ready to jump in. Be ready to commit. If their soldier bombs... So if their soldier commits through there, you can get a really free walk in and bomb either behind or a really free bomb in. Because bombing from here is really hard to deny. Because if you go from here, you get a lot of warning if you're a scout. And you get this whole area to really deny. But if you get through connector, it's really obnoxious. Especially if you go behind and then, if you want, then commit like this. Stuff like that. So... there's a couple ways you can play. So you either can be the aggressor where you commit on their combo, commit on their flank, get behind, or you wait for their guy to commit and then you commit either bombing or you walk through connector and try to get a freer bomb. And just do it where people aren't looking. So that's really it there. If it's even Ubers, usually you want to stay out of it. Make sure they don't push flank again. Make sure you're not like able to be picked, because a lot of times if they take an Uber and trade there, they're going to run over here and try and pick you. So just get away. So if someone does commit, you can recollapse when the Uber's faded and they feed. Stuff like that. So to go for drop, or do you land on high ground? I don't know how. It depends how you like to play. So the question is, if you want to, do you land on the medic or do you land on the high ground and spam the medic? So how I usually played when I used to is I land on the medic. It's not always the best thing, but usually get a force more often than if you stand here. And plus, I don't have the best spam. I don't know. I'm not an MG guy, so my spam's not the best. So you can go here and try and hit the med for like 50s, 30s, and try not to get... The problem is when you shoot those rockets, you're going to get focused by their demo or their soldier or their scout. And a lot of times, you may get a force and live, but you also may not get a force and die and just not really do much. You're not going to draw eyes, really, or away from your combo. You're not going to turn them around. But a lot of times, I used to just jump on the med. And the thing is, when you jump on the med, A, you get a lot more damage, and you get a lot more damage on multiple people. Because instead of doing 50s, you're doing 80s, you're doing 100s. And also, you're scarier. Because if you see a soldier just spamming you as a med, you're probably not going to pop. What? Landing from a high bomb. Dude, I'm done with these. I have no clue what you're talking about. Alright. You said on the med? High bomb from their pack. Okay. That's the same situation. It's just... But that's literally the same situation. It's I like to land on the med because you get the jump. You get the jump and they don't know, and you get more damage from the side. So if anything, you can just bomb on top of the med. Because if you do it behind and then you jump in front of them, it's kind of like, what's the point of going behind? Besides that you pull someone back or something, but I don't know. If I'm going behind, I want to land on high ground. If anything, I'm landing here. Or I'm landing here, where I can get a free flank and have cover, where I can just get into house. Stuff like that. Okay. So even Ubers, stuff like that. If you have Uber disad, a lot of the times you don't want them to get a free walk up. And if you do, just make sure you spam. A lot of times what I did is just, as soon as they kind of get to this point, either you commit on their flank and just completely mess them up, or you can just buy time for your team, you know, jump all the way behind, keep jumping around, you know, just draw eyes and make sure the Uber's not great, you know, pull people away. And if they do all in commit, you can get behind for a post. And if your team wipes, then just either die or try not to die. Because if you die late, then you kind of screw it up because you're just wasting time. Okay. But yeah, so either you want to jump behind, get on the roamer. It's the same thing. You either get on the roamer, get on their combo, get behind. That's usually most of the things on this map. You just got to decide when and where you want to do it. Other things. So, I guess I'll go into some hiding spots. There's not many great ones because there's just not many great places to go. So you can get in the house, go up here if you really want. Usually get found. You may get a trade, but if they come from like the top and know you're there, you're dead. You can hide here. Hide in this corner is somewhat decent. Main. Pretty known, but yeah. Another one that you can sort of get in, it's kind of rough, but you can get here, and if they come through cliff, you can delay in, like, as soon as the med gets in the door, juggle, med pick or force. Other places you can hide. I guess here? Same thing as the other spot, but it's a bit worse. And that's usually it. I guess you could go here if you really want. I don't know how visible you are from there, but this is a decent spot where you can just sneak in. You can also do it here, whichever. But, okay, so that's most of the offense stuff. Let's say breaking out of a forward hold. So a lot of times what people do nowadays, I've seen people do, you kind of do cliff, main, or concrete. So there's a couple things you can do to try and break cliff, because a lot of times there's a demo here. If you go here without some strat, you're just going to get blown up. But what you can do is, if you really... Ooh, I haven't done this bomb in a while, but you can try and jump through. What I wanted to do at some point is you quickie bomb or you detonator, where you shoot either a detonator and blow up the stickies on part of the door, like right here. You shoot it like right there and dead it, or you quickie bomb and just shoot all 4 stickies and just sneak everybody in. As soon as your demo starts shooting the stickies, you all come in. So their demo's doing no damage because every time he shoots a sticky, it gets deleted for at least 4 stickies. And as soon as you get through, it's a cheese play. There's not much you can do about it besides have a scout spot. That's like the only counter where you kind of call it off. Main's not. I don't like main just because you can get spammed so hard. And the whole thing is just hoping they mess up and they don't spam right. But usually what I end up doing is you send a pyro left. Like I said, you make sure he just walks forward. You don't stop walking forward. You just keep walking forward. If anything, you stop here so you can't get bombed. And then you just get your soldiers in and try and get a force. And if their med's not committing, then you get picks. And if you get trades or if you get space, then you get through the door. That's it. You get in. Other cheese plays that I know that Shamu did when I played with him is Shamu and Pete. You had a sniper go main and then just peek. And usually you can get a drop if they're not expecting it. I've seen a spy be used. Not really a heavy. You could maybe heavy out left, but Pyro I think is just objectively better. And you always need some guy watching your back so you don't get flanked when you try and break a forward hold. But if you're trying to initiate against the other team, things you can do are you can bomb in like this. I said before, I messed it up because I tried to do some fancy, but yeah, it's kind of the same thing of when you have Uber disad, but you're holding mid. You just have a little bit less space to work with, where maybe you're gonna have to work it a little bit more, where you get the roamer off, or okay, this bridge. I can't C-tap that hard. I go too high. All right, whatever. I'm going for pure speed. But like, you jump there. You're all the way behind, and you draw eyes. You can jump back in if you really want, if you pull people back. And just stay active. Keep people on their toes. If you're super predictable, you're not going to be super productive on this map, at least. Okay. So, what else? 4-mans. Okay, 4-mans. Pro tip, give a time on the clock. So the time's going to be like 3 minutes, 2:59, 2:58. All right, let's sack at 2:52. Everyone gets buffed. Your med leaves. You bomb in. Find their med. If you can't find their med, find their flank. Get picks. And if their med's playing so far back, you can always call to just say, all right, let's get picks. Don't sack. Have your med come up a little bit farther. And just try and get the flank. Try and get people aggro on point if their med's like in-house or something. Like all the way back here or all the way back on cliff. Just say, I'm not going to force that guy because he's so far away. Let's just get kills. And then, or you can bait cap. It's sort of like what you do on the other maps, but it's not as good as Bagel because the cap doesn't cap as fast. Stuff like that. But, yeah, that's that. That's most everything. The only things, I guess, is just showing off bombs off this. So like I said, there's like bombs like that. There's a lot of bombs you can do on this map. You can do it off of here. It's not as good as, I think, the other side. And if their roamer's gone, you can always do this. Just, you can bomb off any side of this house and it's really good. You can also jump off of this part if you really want. Do a bunch of jumps. You can do it off this. Actually, that's really low. I think you can, though. Yeah, you can jump off that if you want to commit on them. Oh, I guess one other thing is if they are coming out cliff and you know it and you want to commit on them, you can just pre-fire double bomb and just try and wipe them while they're all on this low ground. And it's like, if you're down on time and you need to make a play and you can't really let it go even, you can do that. And it can put you back into a forward hold if you can't get into one. But those are things you'll find out what you like to do if you play this map more often. But I definitely think this is one of the best maps in the game. I don't think Soldier's nearly as bad as people say. It's just people are bad at playing this map. So they just say it's bad for Soldier. Pocket's boring, but the classic double bomb from Cliff to Pride, I don't really like it just because eventually I've seen demos like Sticky the Rock. I've seen if there's a soldier here, you just get blown up because he just juggles you. And it's super predictable. I kind of like the other ones. At least that's a pocket bomb is the thing. The pocket bombs usually come from that side of the map. So you kind of want to come from two different sides just so they're not able to look one place. And this usually gets the job done if you don't jump too high. I've had enough of you. But I think that's all. Is there any other bombs that you do on this map? I don't think so. I think you can do this. I don't think I've like ever done this because what is the time? But yeah, I think that's all. I'll wait a minute if anyone's questions, but then I'll go. Alright. Did you already cover where to spam on mid? Yeah. So usually, like I said, you're either going to be spamming their roamer to just trade damage where they can't do anything, or you spam cross point, spam the rock, spam there. It's just, make sure you don't get caught, and if you trade damage with their roamer, they're not going to be doing anything while you want to play passive. So, yeah. And you can also play in other places, like if you really want to just say, they're just killing me on concrete, I'm going to play here. Usually someone else is going to already be here, so you're kind of stacking. But you can also play here if you want. Get some spam on this side of the point. And still see connector. But they're going to get through it most of the time. Because you're not really actively covering it. But I think that's it. I'm going to end it. And we'll upload this. Alright. Maybe I'll do Metaworks later on, but not right now at least.